3 days until Britain's Strongest Man, the highly anticipated 2021 Britain's Strongest Man. It was back in January 2020 that we had last had the contest. We have the world's strongest man taking on Europe's strongest man, taking on the current Britain's Strongest Man. It's super exciting, and with all that excitement, we have delved into the history books to bring you every single winner of Britain's Strongest Man, as well as a whole host of interesting facts. My glamorous assistant, Auntie Liz, has been digging deep into the archives. What have you found for us?
Should we go through some interesting facts first?
Let's do it.
That's what I find interesting. The first ever Britain's Strongest Man was held in 1979, but there's only actually been 30 contests. There's been quite a few breaks over the years, some longer than others. So It's not been really continuous since, well, it started again continuously in 2012, a year you probably remember.
I do. Because I met you, obviously, not the fact that I won Britain's Strongest Man.
Yeah, that was the year you met me. What a year. And you won Britain's.
I did.
What a good year. So the strongman with the most wins is obviously Eddie Hall. He's won the competition 5 times, 5 consecutive times as well.
That's impressive.
It is very impressive.
There was me thinking I could kind of win a good stint of British titles, and then
suddenly
Eddie Hall comes along.
Eddie got good. Well, Eddie was there for your first 2 wins. But,
yeah, beat him in those 2, but he improved.
Yeah, he did. And that's followed by both Glenn Ross and Jeff Capes, who have each won the competition 3 times.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. The biggest lineup ever at Britain's Strongest Man was in 2012 when 19 athletes competed head-to-head on the same events. Okay. So previously, and you'll remember this, Britain's Strongest Man was held like World's Strongest Man. It used to have heats and a final, but obviously the guys were doing things off in their own little groups. But in 2012, it was 19 athletes in one lineup, which is
it's quite a lot.
Bit of a job, wasn't it?
Yeah, very different to the 10 we have right now.
Yeah, very different. I thought this one was very impressive. The longest gap between wins is 10 years. Jamie Reeves won the competition in 1988 and he won it again in 1998.
Wow. I wonder how many times he competed within that period as well.
There was quite a few years of it missing. So Gary Taylor never won, but when Gary was at his absolute best, Britain's Strongest Man wasn't really happening. So yeah,
that's interesting to think he's won World's Strongest Man but didn't win Britain's Strongest
You're
Man.
ruining one of my other facts. So there are 2 strongmen that have won World's Strongest Man, but not Britain's Strongest Man, and that is Gary Taylor and obviously Tom Stoltman as well. A statistic I'm sure he's very keen to rectify this weekend. Most appearances at Britain's Strongest Man, probably no surprise to anyone.
I think I can guess this one.
Go on.
Mark Felix, by any chance?
Of course it's Mark Felix. He's competed in the competition 12 times, followed by Terry Hollands, who I think has done 10. And one more fact. The athlete who has podiumed the most times at Britain's Strongest Man without winning the competition is also Mark Felix. He's been on the podium 5 times.
And he's never managed to win.
But he's not managed to win.
And he's still going. He's got a chance this weekend. I don't see him winning, to be honest, this weekend.
Well, no.
It's an amazing achievement to be on the podium that many times and not take the win.
Would you see it as an achievement? Would you see that as an achievement?
No. But he has competed in a very, very tough era, to be fair.
He has. He's competed in several tough eras. It's a new Mark.
This is true.
God bless Mr. Felix. Let's move on to the winners.
Okay. So the first few titles were a back and forth affair between the one and only legend that is Jeff Capes and Richard Shahlaei. Jeff taking the title in 79, 81 and 83, and Richard Shahlaei taking the title in 80 and 82.
In 1984, the competition was won by Alan Crossley.
And I've got to say, I haven't heard of Alan before.
Do you know Alan?
No, sadly I don't. I need to delve deeper into these.
Deeper still.
I know most of the guys that have done it, but actually I don't know the next guy as well.
So the competition wasn't held in 1985, but then in 1986 it was won by Peter Tancred.
Again, another guy I've not heard of, to be honest.
No. It's a shame, isn't it? We should find out more
know
about
who these people are.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do know the 88 winner, the legend that is Jamie Reeves. Jamie, former World's Strongest Man, Britain's Strongest Man, one of the British legends of strongman.
So after the 88 competition, there was a massive gap, and it didn't take place again until 1995 when it was won by Scottish strongman Forbes Cowan.
A lot of people don't realise there has been a Scot winning the title, and there could be another Scot this weekend.
They could.
After Forbes, we have Rob Dixon. Rob Dixon, someone we featured in our transformation video. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. But Rob, you wouldn't recognise him these days. He was a great strongman in his day. He's an ultra marathon runner now, which is just mental to think you've gone from strongman to ultra marathon.
It's basically the opposite.
So from 1999, 2000, 2001, it was a dominating era of the daddy, Glenn Ross. Glenn proving he's one of the British greats, still promoting shows now, but he was a 3-time back-to-back champion, which is only one other person has managed to do, I believe.
Yeah, and he was the first man to do it also.
Yeah.
In 2002, the title was won by Mark Iliff, who competed twice in the World's Strongest Man.
Then we have Richard Gosling. Now, I remember watching Richard clearly win his first title, because this was when I was really getting into strongman. And, it was a big moment for me watching the titles at this kind of time, because it was just dragging me into the sport, making me get to the gym. So I remember Richard Gosling winning his titles very clearly.
So Richard won the title twice, consecutive years, and then the year after, his brother Mick Gosling won the title. So it's not the first set of strong brothers that we've had at this competition.
We've seen some strong brothers before. So 2006, we had Ollie Thompson, and Ollie along with Mark Felix and Terry Hollands were they were the 3 guys that made me work hard and become the athlete I had to be. I really looked up to all 3 of them, and Ollie was just a tank. He's gone into MMA since strongman, but he was an incredible strongman, and someone that, he was lifting 400 kilo deadlifts before everyone was doing it. When he was doing 400, no one else was pulling 400. He was just a static monster, and he's gone on to have a career in MMA.
The next one's quite special. 2007. So the winner was Terry Hollands. It was your first Britain's Strongest Man.
I was actually in Terry's group. And I made the final, first time.
Well done.
It was when they were doing it in the groups.
Yeah.
Sadly, I tore my bicep in the final. It's not such a good finish. But yeah, Terry Hollands taking the win. And his only Britain's Strongest Man win.
But
surprising.
What's really incredible, though, is that was 14 years ago. And he did Britain's Strongest Man last year. So to do it over such a long time period, it's quite remarkable, really, isn't it?
Terry actually did the 06 contest as well. 2008, Jimmy Marcoux had an amazing battle with Terry and Felix. I remember watching it well. Those 3 were the top 3. I managed to sneak that 4th place, but they had an amazing battle. There's a good picture of Jimmy Marcoux battered, because we did one of the events we did back then was wrestling, sumo wrestling. And yeah, Jimmy just fought to the end, deserved his title. He was a great character in strongman. Been to a few World's Strongest Man shows as well. But yeah, Jimmy Marcoux.
So after that, Britain's Strongest Man didn't happen for 3 years. So it coming back was a massive deal, and there was a massive lineup, and it was won by a massive man. Your first title win, because you won England's Strongest Man before that, but your first Britain's Strongest Man win. How did it feel, Ozzy?
It felt good. It felt just, because I was sort of 2008. I was on my way up. I was getting closer. I think 2009, 2010, I was one of the better guys. I would have been in that battle. So it was a big deal to bring Britain's Strongest Man back, and for me to win that title, because as you can see, it's a prestigious list to be on. There's been some incredible guys that have won this title. Yeah. So I do feel very proud of myself to be included on this list. 2013, I won it again.
Yay.
So back-to-back winner.
And then Eddie Hall's reign of terror began. The Doncaster Dome. It's quite weird, actually, because the first time we went to the Donny Dome was 2014. He won every Britain's Strongest Man ever held at the Donny Dome.
He did.
So there's another little fact for you.
I mean, Eddie really went on, and he, I think, deserves to be seen as arguably the greatest British strongman ever. I think that you can argue it with Jeff Capes winning 2 titles, but Eddie competed in what I think was a tougher era. He did some amazing things in terms of, the 500 kilo deadlift, because it stretched the level, and his commitment to winning World's Strongest Man. 5-time British champion, well deserved. Thus far, the most dominant winner of the Britain's Strongest Man title.
And just like World's Strongest Man, I can't see someone dominating this competition the same way Eddie did back then, because the depth of talent, even now, just a few years later, is so much greater.
Absolutely. And it goes on, we've still got 2 more champions to come. So 2019, Graham Hicks. People sleeping on Graham. Graham is a dangerous man. He's up for this weekend. I think he could well make himself a 2-time champion, as could last year's winner, who was
Adam Bishop, of course. Britain's Strongest Man, Adam Bishop. Must be the longest
reign that they've actually done a competition the next year.
Although it must have been nice for the guys who won like 2008 and technically had the title for like 3 or 4 years without having to do
Jimmy
anything.
Marker was Britain's Strongest Man from 2008 to 2012. Yeah. And where was it? It was Jamie Reeves had it from 88 to 95. So.
Lovely.
There you have it. Every single winner of Britain's Strongest Man. I hope you enjoyed the facts that Auntie Liz brought to us. Who's going to be added to that list this weekend? Will we see maybe a Hicksy or a Bish add another title, or are we going to see a new champion? Could Mark Felix finally get on there as the winner? It's going to be an epic show. Where can people watch Britain's Strongest Man this weekend?
So they can either watch on officialstrongman.com or, of course, on the Giants Live Facebook page under events.
Links in the description below.
They are.
Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And as always, let us know your comments below on who you think is going to win Britain's and who is your favourite winner of Britain's Strongest Man. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.